The three-legged stool, which you discovered at some point. I mean, the image certainly is pretty rock solid. How did you come up with that? Not only the idea, but that image. I mean, it sticks.
Right.
I've heard it used in so many different ways by business and politicians and people in show business. Like, you got to have this, or you have the stool fall down.
Well, it's simple, I think, for me, because I was there in prison, and every morning I'd walk in at the gate around 6:30 or 7, going between 6:30 and 7. I would meet the people that were leaving the prison to go back again to the community. And in meeting those people that were returning to the community, and I knew what the investment was that we had put in to try to train them for their opportunity of knowing the disease they had, they would meet me and they would be grateful and saying, "Thanks, Father, for the help." And then they would say, "But I'm all dressed up and no place to go." And I'm saying, wow, that's interesting. And the more I heard that day after day after day, going in as these men would come out of the clothing room with their now polyesters on, going back out on the street, I would say, well, that's where I need to be. I need to get out of the prison system. I need to retire quickly and get out of here and go back on the street and try, if I can, to put together a program for community reintegration. And naturally they say, what do you need? Every time you talk with a guy coming out of prison, I need a place to stay. I need some treatment for whatever the kind of problem you think I have, and I need a job. So I said, you need 3 things: treatment, housing, and employment. And that's where it came from. I didn't come up with it. They gave it to me. They said this is what they need. So I saw the need, and I tried to find a way to respond to that need. Nothing really bright on my part. I'm not that smart.
Well, well, what are you then?
Well, I'm persevering.
You refuse to quit, right?
I refuse to quit, yeah. If I find a need, a legitimate need, I try to nail it, and I try to find out how to make it happen.
Now, where's that come from? That drive, that, have you had that all your life?
I think it's been a Christian foundation that I've had, or a social need to try to find a feeling of helping other people. I think it's all of the Beatitudes. It's all of the idea of finding a way to serve other people. And it sort of makes me feel good when I see people, and I see them every day wherever I go now, that have said, I went through your program and thank you. I really feel good about that, because I meet an awful lot of folk, having been in this now for over 52 years. I've been able to see a lot of people, and they say that they've heard, or they've been in, or they've been involved in one of our phases of our programs. We have 118 sites in the state, from Buffalo to Brooklyn. So when I travel and go from program to program, I meet a lot of these people who say, hey, Father, I was with you in this prison or in that prison, and I was in your program, thanks. So it makes me feel good to feel that I've had a chance to be able to help people become a better kind of person.
Now, what kinds of things do these people do?
Well, that's where...
You got 118
locations,
and then... I think a lot of people, this is off the screen for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't run into conversations where people are talking about the rehabilitated and the wonderful things they're doing. And your perspective on this is really is kind of beautiful, as far as I'm concerned. That you take people who really don't have much hope.
Right.
They're physically totally dependent on drugs and alcohol, and you clean them up, and then get them from that outside the penal system into the community where they have to live and work. Right. Those 2 other legs on the stool are outside supervision.
Right.
So how do you get people to have that much faith in themselves to keep working at something? And then what do they do? I mean, what kinds of jobs are they doing?
Well, you're an educator, and you can see the value of being an educator to do an evaluation. I was blessed. The State University, the Criminal Justice Graduate School came in, and they did an appraisal of what we were doing in the prison system, and they found out that those that had a 3-legged stool, the treatment, the housing, and the employment, were 92% successful, never being reincarcerated over a 10-year period. And I'm saying, wow, that's great, compared to 23% success. So I throw it back in the face of the people that I'm working with. Do you want to be a winner or a loser? And if you want to be a winner, this is the path you're going to have to take to work with us on getting treatment, safe, clean, affordable housing, and I have to get you a job. So I am very much involved in job development. Workforce development right now is where we're really at every day, and we don't hesitate to say that. It's more workforce development, trying if I can to find a job for the homeless, the addicted, and the criminal justice people. Those are the three categories of folk we work with. And we've been able to, here in Albany County, just in Albany, we've been able to show, by way of people that have been in this kind of path of receiving social services, to get them off of that. Our mission statement is to become a taxpayer. We have documentation, hard facts, that we've saved Albany County and the area here, Albany and Troy County areas, Schenectady, over $15 million of people, getting them off of the public dole to a job with the dignity of a paycheck. And that makes me feel good when I get them, because when they get that money, no one tells them how to spend it. They get a chance to be a little pride about who they are and what they are, and then I begin to look at them and say congratulations, and they're happy.
So you run into people in restaurants and businesses and things who went through your program, and they have
all the time
good jobs.
Yeah, we try to find a market. We try to find a way to get people, prepare them to be on time, to take orders, and to do the job in a kind of quality of care way. And it works, because now we're offering people on the market, people that are clean and sober, that are willing to listen and take advice. So we prep them for that. That's a lot of our life skill training that we're doing at this time in a variety of places.
So does your program sort of coincide with AA in
Very
some
much.
kind of way? Yeah. How's that work?
Well, it happened by way of my relationship with many of the people that I'd meet in court. I met lawyers who were in recovery in court, and they said, you know, we'd like if we could volunteer. I was up in the court every day and meeting those lawyers. They said at night, we'd volunteer with you. And I said, oh, great. I was trying to get the volunteers to help. And they came down and they said, we want to give you an airplane ticket. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just housing people, trying to feed them and trying to get them into a safe spot. But I didn't know any philosophy of what really addiction was at that time. So they gave me an airplane ticket, and I was met then by the people in Ohio that I got a chance to go and to see, and they said, you'd learn something by taking advantage of this. And I met then with Bill Wilson, and I met with the people in the early movement of AA, and I met then a chance to work with, it's called a charity program, Rosary Hall in Charity Hospital in the area of Ohio, and I worked for Sister Ignatia on how to match the winners with those that were still in need of recovery. So I was basically working there as a matchmaker, trying, if I could, to say, you know, it's a good thing if you can come on in and help this person who might need to be able to help them in their road to recovery.
Yeah, what is that phrase, each
one teach one?
Yeah, each one teach one. That's it, right?
Yeah,
it's like a mentoring thing.
Yeah, it's we're into mentoring right now. We're establishing mentoring with the haves to the have-nots, or to the idea of people that need skill. We have one of our psychologists and an entire staff for trying, if we can, to recruit mentors and mentees, so we can put them together where they can get the skills. And the idea, it starts off with many of our things now. We're going into a lot of energy products, and for energy products, you need to have a little math head. A lot of our clients are 35 going on 20 because they have not been on the right road, or they've been unable to do what you're doing in college as a teacher in an academic world. They've lost it. They've forgotten how to do the math. So we're trying, if we can, to recruit volunteers to come in and teach these people so we can get them to pass the BPS test. It's a test for certification, and if they're going into energy and they're trying, if they can, to do an energy audit on an envelope of a room or a building, they have to figure it all out math-wise. So we're recruiting a lot of people that need then that kind of help, and then we find the people that will be able to help them, and we're getting a lot of college students now from Siena and from other colleges that are coming in volunteering, and a lot of adults too. A lot of retired professors are coming in who are helping us to set this up.
You're giving me that look.
A guilt trip.
I'll do it.